Hello and welcome to What to Look For in Ceremony. My name is Isa, and for those of you who don't know me, I work in the plant medicine space. Clients come to me when they're new to plant medicine, and I help them find the right plant medicine, number one. Number two, help them prepare for ceremony, help them find a ceremony that's suitable to their needs, and then help them integrate afterwards. So I've been working with plant medicine for about 2 years now. And in my experience, there's a ton of different types of ceremonies and retreats you can attend, but going to several different ones and doing ceremony with several different providers has given me some experience around what to look for, the things that I liked, the things that I didn't like. So I'm hoping that today's presentation will help you if you're looking for ceremony to know exactly what you're looking for. So this is the definition straight from the dictionary. A ceremony is a formal religious or public occasion, typically one celebrating a particular event or anniversary. So it's a good place to start is kind of defining what a ceremony is and why it's important. Whatever kind of ceremony you end up at has a lot to do with the type of experience or the type of journey that you'll be having in that ceremony. So, if you think about like a wedding ceremony is a celebration of love, right? And in a lot of ways, going or healing through plant medicine in a ceremony is also a celebration. It's a celebration of you stepping into your own healing, you prioritizing your well-being, you stepping into the person who you're going to be after ceremony, because after a plant medicine experience, you don't come back the same. You're a completely different person. So I like, even though some certain plant medicine experiences can be difficult or challenging, it's still a celebration because it's a big deal. So and this doesn't have to be as formal as, something like traveling outside of the country and going to a retreat, or even like in terms of like a wedding ceremony doesn't have to be like lavish like that. You can do ceremonies on your own too, even if you're doing like a solo journey with mushrooms or LSD, any of the psychedelics that you're used to working with, and then you're comfortable enough to do a solo journey. You can still have a ceremonial setting to place more importance on what you're doing, what you're stepping into. Why are ceremonies important? So like I said, setting aside time and space for the journey that you're about to embark on just makes it more special. It separates it from your daily life. It separates it from, routine events that you go through, on a daily basis. So it just sets it apart from other parts of your life. And helps enforce intention. So coming into specifically plant medicine ceremonies, it's a good idea to set an intention, set a strong intention, because that too kind of determines the trajectory of your journey. So having a ceremony or like a ceremonial space where you're coming in with an intention, it just creates more charge in the experience, right? Having a sitter for medical emergencies. So I just, I don't recommend doing solo journeys unless you're very, very experienced with that specific medicine. And even then, I feel like you should always have someone close by just in case. So if you're participating in a plant medicine journey at a ceremony, there's going to be people there watching you, considering you've done your due diligence and you feel that safety and security that somebody will assist you during a medical emergency. This is something that a ceremony can provide for you. A sense of community, and this also covers relationships, because having support around your experience and then having an objective perspective too can help you go deeper with your own healing. You know, people can sometimes see things that you miss, things that are in your blind spots. And being in a ceremonial setting where it's usually, you know, a group of people, you can have that kind of opportunity to see your experience reflected through others. And obviously you can't get that if you're alone. Integration support and understanding your experience, that echoes what I was just saying about community. If they're providing at the ceremony support for you to reflect, to be able to reflect on your plant medicine journey and to be able to gain tools in order to apply, like when you go back to your life, being able to actually create change so that your journey wasn't a waste, you know, like you want to take as much as you can out of every journey because it's loaded with lessons. So lessons, insights, awarenesses, you know, you see who you are. So extracting all of those lessons and then applying them to your life, actually creating change. There isn't, not every ceremony will have integration support like this, but integration support in general is very, very important because that's what actually creates the change in your life. So going deeper in your healing through relationships, that's kind of what I was saying earlier too. Seeing your experience reflected through other people can help you go deeper. And then being able to go deeper too when you're feeling safe and secure in your body, to be able to relax, to be able to lean back, knowing that you're being taken care of, that allows you to go deeper into the medicine. Set and setting. This is a term that's often used by the psychedelic community. And it's just the concept that your set is short for mindset, and then setting is your environment, which is your physical and your social environment. So they've done a lot of studies on DMT, LSD, and psilocybin mushrooms, comparing different sets and settings and seeing if there's a correlation between that and the journey. And what they found is that people tend to have more pleasant experiences when they're in the right mindset and they feel safe and secure in their setting. So, you know, you can ask yourself, what is your current mindset? But for me, you know, people come to the medicine to heal. So you're probably not going to have the most positive mindset when you're coming, you know? So I think the important thing is to, as best you can, try to reflect on where you are and try to be really honest about what your current mindset is, even if that means you have to admit that you're depressed or you're feeling lost or overwhelmed. That's okay, because the medicine always meets you where you are anyway. But it'll be easier, it'll be smoother if you come in with that humility, like, okay, this is what I need to heal, and then bring that to the medicine. Intentions are your guide. Like what I said earlier, coming in with strong intentions can really, it first of all helps keep you grounded during the ceremony, and then also helps open you up to that. It puts you basically into a receptive state, because you're asking, right? You have these intentions and you're asking the medicine for certain things. So you're going to be looking for those certain things, you know? So it just helps you stay focused, pretty much. You can ask yourself, what social situations do you feel comfortable in? So, you know, for me, I can't do mushrooms or LSD and then go out and party. I honestly don't know how people do that. But like being around a bunch of strangers, and then like your energy is so open and raw, and I just feel like I feel so vulnerable around all these people I don't know. So like it makes me put my walls up, and you don't want to be putting your walls up during a plant medicine experience, because what you're really doing is putting walls up between you and your experience. So, which is also a lesson in itself, because it helps you see how you block people and how you block yourself. But that's another story. But, you know, these are good things to ask yourself, like, do I want to be around a lot of people? You know, do I want to only be around people that I know? You know, things like that. And then, like I said, the right set and setting generally produces more pleasant experiences. These are some things to look for in a ceremony. Size. First 4 times I did ayahuasca, the group was about 80 people. And it was my first time, so I had nothing really to compare it to. But then lately I've been doing a lot more intimate retreats. And it really just depends on you. You know, there's pros and cons to both. I felt a really strong sense of community when there was 80 of us, because there were just so many. Like, you had to find someone that you got along with, right? And we're still, you know, it's been over a year and we still are in close contact with each other. So there is that sense of community that comes with that. But then when you go to the more intimate retreats, you know, you get deeper in your healing, and then everyone's provided, also depending on the structure of the retreat or the structure of the ceremonies that you're going to. I feel like you're given more space for your experience when it's an intimate retreat, because it's almost like you get a personal experience, you know. You should, you know, ask questions about the provider, whether they call themselves a shaman or not. Doesn't really the title doesn't really matter. It's, you want to feel comfortable with this person because you're putting your trust into what this person is serving you, right? So some ceremonies, the provider likes to communicate with all the participants beforehand, which I like a lot, because you want to develop a certain level of trust and relationship with the provider, or at least, you know, what you know about the provider, to help yourself ease into that safety. Because like I said, safety and security, that's everything when you're going to ceremony, because you are so vulnerable. Like, you're taking a lot of the time, you know, it's most likely going to be your first time, you know, doing whatever plant medicine it is. You take the medicine and you're completely vulnerable. So you have to have a lot of trust. And the more trust and the more faith you can bring into ceremony, the deeper you will go in the medicine, because that's the trust that you're bringing to the medicine too. Facilitator to participant ratio. So making sure, depending on which plant medicine you are choosing to do, things like iboga, you probably need almost like a 1 to 2, but you know, aya can be a little bit more. But yeah, whatever these questions are for you. So whatever you feel comfortable with, you know, do you feel like you need that one-on-one, or are you okay with, you know, just having like the provider and 2 assistants, you know? Medical emergencies, are they equipped? Do they have staff? When I went to do ayahuasca at Rhythmia, they're a licensed medical facility, and I felt like I needed that because I have, you know, my background's in healthcare. So for me, it was important that and I had bipolar disorder at the time. So for me, it was really important that they had someone on staff to be able to handle an episode or a situation if it were to occur. You know, nothing happened, but I felt like it was because I was able to lean back into that security and that safety and trust that I was okay. I was going to be okay. I wasn't going to die, you know? And you're going to feel like you're going to die sometimes, and a lot of the time. And those are the good ones. Cleanliness, you know, just this, of course, this is up to you. If you're going to like Peru in the jungle, it's probably not going to be clean. There's probably going to be roaches and like bugs everywhere. So it just depends on what is important to you, what's going to make you feel safe. How close they are following the traditions of wherever the medicine comes from. Again, if that's important to you, it's good to know where exactly they're sourcing the medicine from, because you want to know that they are in integrity. You know, the medicine is it picks up on energy. So it picks up on the energy of the people who make it and the people who handle it. So you want to be able to trust that what you're consuming is as pure as possible, or that you know that you're okay with whoever's handled it. So ask these questions. This is your ceremony. You're entitled to this information. Don't be afraid to ask all these questions, you know, that if they have nothing to hide, it's no problem, right? Humility and reverence, that this to me, anything that has to deal with plant medicine, I feel like humility and reverence are the most important thing when you're judging or when you're trying to decide where you want to go and who you want to serve the medicine to you. For me, it's all about the medicine. You know, these people are here to support the medicine. The medicine's the main star. So if they're coming from a place of like ego or like I'm gonna heal you kind of thing, I don't know, those are red flags for me, because they're just there, for me, they're just there to support the medicine, and the medicine is the one who's helping you heal, and then it's between you and the medicine. So the clearer their channels are, the more pure you're going to, you know, the purer your experience is going to be, because it's just going to channel through them, right, the medicine to you. So those are some things to look out for. Risk of choosing the wrong ceremony, I put that in quotes because I don't believe in right or wrong. I believe that whatever ceremony you end up at is the one you're supposed to be at. And even if there are things that you would change or things that you don't like, those are all lessons, and they're a reflection of the way you live your life. So there are no mistakes, just, you know, so we clear the air on that. Like I said, they are just reflections of your intentions. So if you ended up at the wrong ceremony, how did you get there? You know, ask yourself these questions. But, you know, if you're not doing your due diligence, like I said earlier, having the right set and setting will most likely give you a more pleasant experience. So not having the right set and setting might have the opposite effect. Of course, it's going to be different for every single person, and it depends on the situation. But in general, these are some things to look out for. If you're not feeling safe in your environment, if you're not trusting the people around you, you could get stuck in a fear loop, is what I call it. So like I said earlier, when you're feeling threatened, you're going to put your walls up. And so whenever you're taking medicine, the medicine amplifies whatever is going on inside of you. So, you know, whatever you fear you would normally feel, it's going to be times a million. And it's not, and sometimes you won't even realize that you're stuck in fear because it's all there is. And yeah, I mean, like I said, those are lessons in themselves as well. So there's nothing wrong with it, but you know, it's not really something that we want to be experiencing, right? And then not trusting your set and setting will cause you to not trust the medicine as well. So your body might turn against the medicine or try to like resist all the healing. And yeah, that could happen if you're not feeling safe. It'll be harder to surrender because, you know, if you think about it, resistance is the opposite of letting go, right? It's the opposite of relaxing. So it's just going to be a harder time for you to surrender because your body's automatic physiological reactions are to fight threats, because your body's job is to keep you alive, right? So even consciously, if you're like, yeah, I know how to surrender and I'll just let go and I'll be fine, your body is a different story. Your body has its own consciousness, right? So it's going to react in the way that it was programmed to react, which is survival mode. And that's not conducive to healing, because in order to heal, you need to be in a receptive mode. Feeling isolated or alone, like I said, the right ceremony and the right community will help you feel like, you know, you belong, and it'll help you, that tribal, that need to be a part or to belong to a tribe, that's our root chakra. So that's, you know, the opposite of that is fear. So again, more fear, more like isolation, aloneness, and then that impacts your journey. Exposing yourself to dark or unwanted energies. This is going to probably be possible wherever you go, whatever ceremony you participate in. But, you know, you want to still try to choose a provider who you feel like has done their healing work themselves, because if whatever healing that they haven't done in themselves. That's kind of like what they're bringing into ceremony. You know, when you come into ceremony, you drink the medicine, everyone's drinking the medicine. So your energy is just really raw and exposed, and you are vulnerable to whatever is in the room, whatever is in the space. Bad trip. This is what I was saying earlier, that like trips, the experiences aren't good or bad. Experiences, the plant medicine experiences are always perfect. There is no right or wrong, or like, you know, I should have surrendered earlier, or I chose the wrong ceremony, whatever. Like whatever happens is perfect. So everything has its lessons. And for me, the harder journeys are the ones that I learn the most from, because they tell me a lot about myself. Okay, just some questions that you can ask yourself if, you know, when it comes time to choose a ceremony. What am I looking to get out of this ceremony? What is their medical intake procedure? This tells you a lot about how much care they're putting into your safety. What medical precautions are important to me? That's, you know, are they equipped? You know, do they have professionals on staff? Do they have procedures in case of emergencies, things like that? What kind of people do I feel comfortable around? This is setting, like socially, who do you feel like you can really relax around? Are there clear instructions on what to expect, agenda, and how to prepare? So the time before you get to ceremony is just as important as the time that you're in ceremony, because you want to feel supported, and the time before ceremony is how you see, you know, it's a reflection on how they're going to support you during ceremony. So if they're not communicating with you and you kind of don't know what you're supposed to do or what you're supposed to bring, I don't know, that's not really a good sign. So if they're supporting you, if they're making sure that you're feeling comfortable and you're feeling empowered about your decision, that kind of stuff is important to me. But you have to ask yourself, what's important to you? Do you feel supported in preparing for ceremony? Like what I was saying. Do they offer post-ceremony integration support? So for me, I mean, I'm biased because I'm an integration coach, but I'm an integration coach because there's not enough support out there for integration. And integration is the most important part of a plant medicine journey. I will say it until I'm blue in the face. Like, it's the most important part, because you can go to as many ceremonies as you want to, but if you're not actually creating change in your life, nothing's going to change. And it's just very simple. Integration support. Are they offering support after you've left? Like, are they doing an integration call? Did they give you integration resources? I mean, even if they don't, you should be taking it upon yourself to hire a coach or, you know, get a program. I don't know, there's just not much stuff out there, but like, get informed about integration, because it's just like, plant medicine journeys aren't easy. They're not something you want to do all the time. You know, you want to take as much as you can from one experience. And I mean, every experience is so rich that you can extract a lot of lessons and insights and awarenesses just off of one ceremony, if you have the support, you know, and if you have the people who are knowledgeable about this kind of thing. Because especially if it's your first time doing plant medicine, you might not be able to read the messages in the way that other people who have had more experience with it can, as easily, at least, you know. So I like to go to the retreats that they do offer integration support. Are you getting a loving, supportive, humble, grounded, and transparent vibe? So, I mean, always trust your intuition. Do you feel like these are people you want to work with? Do you feel like these people care about you and your healing and your safety? You know, go with that. And a lot of the time, most people will get a weird feeling in their stomach if it's something that doesn't feel right. Trust that, you know, there's a reason why your stomach hurts whenever you talk to this person. I say stomach because that's what happens with me all the time. Can I connect with a provider prior to ceremony? So like what I was saying earlier, if you can speak to the provider, that would be amazing. I mean, at bigger retreats, it might be a little bit harder. And then you just have to kind of trust that the facility, I guess trusting the retreat or the organizers themselves to choose someone who you would trust would have to be what you do. But with the smaller intimate retreats, there should be no reason why you can't connect with the provider, you know? And life is a sacred ceremony. So ceremonies don't just apply to plant medicine experiences. A ceremony can be you drinking your morning coffee, you know, sitting down, setting aside time and space for this, you know, for you drinking and enjoying your cup of coffee and nothing else. And then setting intentions like, how do I want to feel after this coffee? Like, what do I want to get? You know, maybe it's just more energy. Maybe it's just like a little boost or whatever. But treating your whole life as a ceremony, it just makes it more intentional. It makes you more present, and it makes you more respectful, because our lives are sacred and we forget sometimes. And then here are just some resources. I have 2 YouTube videos on my channel, Is Ayahuasca Right for Me and Preparing for Ceremony. So if you are kind of, you know, deciding if you want to have an ayahuasca experience, I go into all the benefits, risks, contraindications, all that stuff. And then Preparing for Ceremony, it's literally what to do to prepare for ceremony, like with your diet, preparing yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, setting intentions, things like that. If you are interested in finding a ceremony, you can also contact me about that. And I also have, I'm part of an organization called Awake Healer. And what we do is we microdose pure vine ayahuasca every month, or we get a month supply of pure vine ayahuasca, and then we do integration circles every week. And there's no DMT in it, so it's legal. And microdosing pure vine has a lot of really good benefits, and it's really nice for integration too. Like if you've sat in an ayahuasca ceremony and you want to stay connected to the medicine, microdosing is a really good way to do that. And then if you're not in New York, in the New York City area, I can connect you to other Awake Healer group leaders around the country, and see if, you know, you can connect with more people in your area. My meetup group is New York Ayahuasca and Plant Medicine, if you're not part of it. My Facebook group is NYC Plant Medicine Healing. I put a lot of plant medicine resources and information in there. And Thank You Plant Medicine is a worldwide group that is just a really good community to be a part of. You can text me on Signal or WhatsApp, or send me an email if you have any questions, if you were looking for ceremonies, if you want to know about a specific plant medicine, or if you want me to like even vet a ceremony for you, I can do that. But yeah, so that's it for my presentation. Thank you guys for coming.